welcome to Convention Horror Stories. Okay, so this is my first time running the panel, but we're gonna have fun.
That's horror story number 1.
That's horror story number 1. that one's free.
Rest are $1 each. Please pay them.
I would love that if we could have everyone had a turn to tell their horror stories. So let's try to keep them kind of short. And I'll start. Okay?
Yeah, give us an example of how to do this.
Okay. It was a dark and stormy night. Actually, it was sunny and in the middle of the afternoon at AnthrOhio. Yeah. It was at AnthrOhio in Pittsburgh. It was in there. My friends and I went to a panel room. We didn't know what it was. And there was a huge group of people. And we sat down. And they were like, "Welcome to Furry Family Feud." And we were like, "Oh, this might be cool." So our ignorant butts sat there. And they were like, "We need volunteers." And my friends were like, "Pick Reed! Pick this guy!" And I got dragged on stage. And it was the worst 20 minutes of my life. The questions they asked were so bonkers and didn't even make any sense. And at one point, the host started stripping. And I didn't understand why. And someone jumped up and grabbed their wallet like they were gonna give out dollar bills. And they just grabbed all the money out of their cash and threw it at the host.
Wow.
I was so scared. The break came and my family was very much losing. And when the host back returned, I ran. And I don't remember the rest of the con because I just ran home after that. So yeah, that's my convention horror story. Yeah, so before I give the flashlight off to someone else, the rules I want to go, we're going to have a few rules. No naming names. No stories about someone who might be in this room. That's rude. This is an 18 and up panel, but no slut shaming, no kink shaming. That's really it. Who's got a horror story they want to share?
Oh, come on.
This is great, okay?
You just need to hear ours?
Okay. Come on.
Also, the no naming names thing does apply for conventions as well as people.
Also, to help set this spooky campfire mood, we've got s'mores. Yay.
S'more what?
You earn them for telling stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell a story. I eat too many s'mores and then regret my life.
Yeah, if you tell a story, you get to make yourself a s'more. So,
Then we have s'mores.
I'm Stevie!
here's Chibi with her convention horror story.
I check Lost and Found.
Mine's actually at night. Yay!
Oh, I can't.
But, I was at a convention, and it was an anime convention, because I've never been to a furry con before now. But we were walking back to our hotel room, and all these fire trucks start driving past. We're like, what's going on? Where's all the fire trucks? And we try to go to our hotel room, and we can't because the hotel's on fire. So, we got to stay out until 3 o'clock in the morning, wondering if all our stuff burned up. Fortunately, it didn't, but still. I've actually been to a con where the hotel caught on fire. And that's my horror story.
Yay!
Passport.
Who's next?
Come on.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say, I'm super shy and I have a
You can't just come to listen to stories, you have to tell your own.
I don't have any stories.
So this was 18 years ago. This was a Transformers convention in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Morphicon doesn't exist anymore, but it has nothing to do with the con itself. We went out for karaoke night and at the local bar, and the entire room was taken over by Transformers. Now you had a couple people there who were they were diehard karaoke folks, and they're just blown away because they're just these people were terrible, and we came here to sing. But we're drunk. I had 7 Rolling Rocks, and me and a buddy were to the point where we were stealing pictures of beer off the tables where everyone had left. So We dragged ourselves back to the hotel. Just somehow we found our way home. There were like 8 of us, and the 2 sober people, the 2 responsible members, steered us to where we needed to go.
Go ahead.
So we get back to the hotel room and crash. And we're literally crash. It's not, nobody could hit the bed, nobody, I'm on the floor. Things are a little bit messed up. The responsible guy, one guy's thrown up in the toilet, passes out in front of the toilet. I'm passed out on the floor here, and I get up, I gotta pee. My other buddy's watching the guy who's passed out in front of the toilet, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm making sure he's okay. I'm like, get out of the way, I gotta pee. He's like, he's in there, you can't go in there. I'm like, bullshit! So I walk in, and my friend is in front of the toilet, I pee over him into the toilet.
There's a hand back there, I think, right?
Yeah. Press it that way.
That takes some ingenuity, sir.
Your dex score must be really high. Like over Andrew.
I can give you all lessons later on tonight.
Okay, it was a dark and
Mine are
stormy night,
horrendous.
and it was
smart.
at a FurCon. Now this is a little bit 18 and older, but I promise to keep things vague and short. It was after the Saturday night events, and all the events have died down, everybody's gone back to their room, and of course is that one nice hotel room with the jacuzzi, holding the evening party. So, everything ensues. All of the nice twinks are clothesless in the hot tub, and what do? I get out of the hot tub and bust my knee open. Trying to plie or ballet or something flamboyant, trying to show off intoxicatingly. And then I feel that, I'm just a little bit too far. So let me wind myself down and we'll just go for a walk out in the parking lot. Well, not did I just go for a walk out in the parking lot, so did my lunch.
So did your what?
So did you what?
Lunch.
Oh, lunch. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Convention horror stories.
Thank you. I'm giving us a work group. I like this. I can do one. I got one for you. While other people realize their stories and decide to share them.
There's more than mine.
Uh,
I made 800 bucks after that.
So mine comes more from a staff perspective. I was employed by a convention, who I will not name for reasons, but I was employed by a convention to work on their website and design their website, coded it from the ground up. All the nitty-gritty bits of code were done by me, in addition to my full-time job. And I was told about 2 months before the convention, hey, we're gonna have this really cool scavenger hunt thing for everybody who's there. It's gonna be this code on the back of their badge, and you go to this, go to this thing, and you get this sticker from the head of the room, and you have to answer questions and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, great. What do you need from me? And he said, the con chair, my boss, was like, well, we need a website page just for that. All right, cool, I can do that. Give me plenty of time. Oh no, we don't know what's on it yet. All right. When will we know? When do you want me to do this? Well, we should have the final information probably the night before the con.
Dang.
I was like, oh, okay. Give me what you can. I'll get started. He was like, well, I'll just give it to you when we have it all. Okay. So I get. Okay. He had me make the QR code for the back of the badge for the page of the website without the page being built. Badges are printed. Badges are being handed out. On Thursday night when people were regging. And I had completely forgotten. And he was like, hey, by the way, here's this email with about half a gig of information that needs to go on that page. Can you code that and make that live by tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. when Reg opens? Sure, boss. I'm not also helping with another department and need sleep and also working a full-time job. Like, sure, yeah, I'll definitely stay up till 3 and 4 in the morning and do this for you. So
This beast did it though.
Yeah, no,
I was also
it
staff
got
at
done.
it got done.
Every single update to that website got
Come here. I am a web developer. That is my profession. I have had many days web development.
No, never. Why would I sleep? Because another page on the site broke and I had to fix that.
This was during a con that I went to my friends overseas, over in the United Kingdom. It's a con that is nothing but Sega-related items.
Wow.
It's no longer around because Sega's.
Yep.
Because it was sponsored by Sega.
Oh.
So, out of nowhere, I was helping my friends. I was helping my friends staff their table for their comic, their online comic that has to deal with the game for Nights into Dreams. Out of nowhere, you see two big burly fellows in black suits, fedoras, and freaking black sunglasses come straight up to the table for the comic and just, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, dear goodness, I give up about a good 70, 80 pounds on them. And they just start trashing the table. They actually threw the table through a window. All of my friends' stuff that they did was trashed. We got the people arrested though, because we found out that they were two hoodlums.
Sounds like it.
Dressed up as Sonic fans. That is one of the many horror stories I have been part of. Who's next?
I have another one if no one else does.
Yeah. They were straight up being
You've got one?
arsonists.
I have one, but I don't know the order.
He's got all his Thank you.
So, just a quick recap on the rules, since we have a few new people in here. Convention horror stories, spooky campfire edition. We've got s'mores I'm making as we're doing this.
Which is the reward for telling stories.
Yes.
And also just
Keeper stories, semi-short. The panel's supposed to be an hour long, but there's nothing in here until 10, so we have a little bit of wiggle room there. The rules: no naming names, no king shaming, no slut shaming. Other than that, just tell us a good story. Try to make it more like our reaction, not so much "oh no," more like "oh no."
so far good stories.
Yeah, these are all really good stories so far. You're all doing a rock, kick-ass job.
We're also sorry that these things happened.
Yes. Y'all are
not sorry at all.
miserable.
Well, yours ended on a
Yours
really
was
good
pretty
note.
epic.
That was amazing.
There's a second car.
That's part of the deleted scene.
Alright, I've got another story. This occurred at Midwest Fur Fest in 2014.
I think it's a no con naming.
I said no naming names of people.
Oh.
Oh wait, I just worked for that con. That's why
Yeah.
that's it.
They didn't name the con because they worked for it.
No.
I don't care.
So, MFF 2014, it was a dark and snowy night. I was sitting in the lobby, it was Saturday night, sitting in the lobby. This person had been bothering me on the popular friendship app Grindr for the majority of the weekend, not taking the hints that I was not interested.
hooking up for innocent boys, right?
We had, yes. We had hooked up at a previous convention, and it wasn't very good. But I'm too nice to block someone for some reason. And they ran into me in the lobby and sat down next to me, and they were like, hey. And I was like, hey. And they were like, don't go up to your room. And I was like, oh, my roommates are sleeping. It's like 1 in the morning. My roommates are sleeping. And they were like, my roommates are sleeping too. There's a public bathroom around the corner though.
Oh my God.
What?
Romantic.
And I was like, at that point I was looking for like a fire alarm to pull so I could leave. As luck would happen, it was MFF 2014 and someone had just lit off a chlorine bomb.
Yeah.
On the plus.
So the alarm started going off and I was like, I gotta go! And quickly made my way through the crowd of leather fetishists whose party got broken up and fursuiters who were probably actually super comfortable outside in the cold.
And people who had already passed out and were now being helped out by their friends.
Like my friend that was sleeping in my hotel room. Exactly.
You had a guardian angel?
Yeah, I had a guardian, I don't know, drug lord or something. It was just hats off to you, MFF chlorine fiend. You saved my butthole. That's my story. Oh, you can have one.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. That one's free.
Oh, they didn't like the story.
Anyone else have a story?
I kind of
Yeah.
I saw Flower Crown raise their hand first.
Oh boy. So, yes, I think you were there. Colosicon 2009.
No Colossus stories yet.
Fun convention. We're still in high school, so my mom brought us. So that's a little weird, but so we just got back from the rave. We're having a good time and everything, and then they're like, "Hey, so there's a tornado coming, so you have to get out of your room, and we all have to take you all down to the basement." So they take us to like the basement where like the underground like washing machines are, and they're like, "Yeah, you gotta stay down here for like a good 30, 40 minutes. Meanwhile, everybody's in their PJs sleeping on cushions that were taken out of the rooms on like the concrete floor. And then they're like, okay, you can go back up to your room now. Well, apparently they didn't tell people on certain floors that there was a tornado warning. So there were people still in their rooms during this tornado warning.
That blows.
Yeah, I wasn't one of them though. Alright, that's my encore story.
On a side note, Cosplacon's next weekend if you want to go. I hear rooms have sold out for the next 4 years.
Yes they are.
I don't know how I want to tell my
But if you line up now,
It's not really a horror story. It's me being complicated. But I can frame it as a horror story.
Anybody else?
I don't know.
oh,
Rachel?
What?
Speak up!
So, my con horror story is from a convention in Michigan called YomoCon. This was one of my first YomoCons a few years ago. This is a two-parter. The first part is I did a cosplay group with a bunch of other lovely women who were cosplaying as the evacuations, but as Playboy Bunny versions. I was the Jolteon. I kept getting called Pikachu. After the 7th or 8th time you get called Pikachu, you're like, yeah, sure, yeah. I also got the yellow one. But, yeah.
hey, the yellow one.
Yeah. But later that night at YomoCon, met up with a friend who was a local and I don't see them very often. I met him from another con that I used to run an event at. And me and this group of people that ran this event, when we would go to that con, not YomaCon, but the other con, we would always kind of be hanging around together. So when I show up to YomaCon by myself, the first thing the friend says is, "Hey, where's the rest of your group?" I was like, "No, it's just me. We're not like a conjoined unit. This is it." But they were also very, very stoned. And they did not have a badge. So I was babysitting. And I wasn't able to go to the rave or really enjoy the con at all after I started hanging out with that person, because I kind of felt bad if I would have just like left them by themselves, as high as they were. We ended up finding a room party that also smelled like the devil's lettuce. And I'm pretty sure there was probably a few illegal things other than that going on in that room. But my friend was like, "Yeah, this party's great. Let's stay here." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Thank you." Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. And then basically that just kind of, eventually they kind of sobered up and we went our separate ways. And I just ended up going back up to the room and going to bed and going, "Well, this has been fun." Anyway. Just to get
Anyone wants more?
I would love
I don't know what it's made of.
This happened at a convention where I was, at the same convention that we evacuated, I believe, 3 times due to fire alarms. But that wasn't actually all that interesting. The night was dark. They usually are. This is a convention horror story of somebody else's because it makes me look awesome. 2 of my friends, one who is an incredible perv, may he rest in peace till we get there, and the other one who continues 10 years later to be as innocent as the driven snow. They walk by, and this is a convention in which one of the funker rooms is named Brundage. For context, one of the after dark panels is called Bondage and Brundage. It is one of the earliest cons to be lifestyle. They walk past this room and they see young, attractive people wearing nothing but electrical or tape or something similar walking in and out. And they're like, "We want in on this." The innocent and the perv, for whatever reason, hanging out together of our group, hanging out together, want in. And they ask the guy at the door, "Can we come into your party?" He's like, "Who do you know?" And they're like, "We don't know anyone." And he said, "Get out of here, this isn't the party for you." And of course, the innocent one is willing to just move on, but the perv is arguing with them. And I think eventually the perv, and I shouldn't be calling him that, but he really was, offered to come back wearing diapers. We don't know where he was going to get. I don't know where he was going to get them from. He was going to offer to do that. I didn't ask questions. I wasn't there. I was just sitting, so the next morning I was just sitting in my chair reading my book when the guy from and the others are not with me. The guy from the door walks by, says, "Hi, Paul," gives me a cookie and keeps going. And the others were like, "Wait a minute, you know this guy?" Because I'm like, I'm known for being boring and having no social life or anything. I'm like, "How do you know him?" It's like, "Of course I know JC. He's in my secret society."
Was this part 2?
Do you want part 2 or do you want 1997?
1997.
1997, Rochester, New York. Morphicon 97. Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime, this is his very first convention appearance ever. So all of us old people, we were young at the time, have all converged on Rochester, New York for this convention. Everything is doing very well to plan, and his autograph line is lined up, and everything like that. things are going great. There's a convention center, and right next to the convention center was a concert hall. Who knows who the Wu-Tang Clan is?
Oh my God.
I do. So, Wu-Tang Clan was having a concert at the same time as the Transformers convention, and they were utilizing the same walkway.
Oh.
So you had Wu-Tang Clan members lined up here, or Wu-Tang Clan attendees lined up here, and Transformers fans lined up here, and things were tense. And there was a sign, and it was the best sign ever. And I wish we had cell phones back then that took really nice pictures, because there was a handwritten sign on the wall that said, "Transformers, this way. Wu-Tang, this way."
Okay, so it was ColossalCon 2015, and for those that don't know, ColossalCon has a swim party at the Kalahari, and so a friend and I left our room to go down for the swim, and we saw a guy face down out in the hallway in front of his hotel room. And so we nudged him like, "Hey, are you okay?" Well, turns out he was incredibly drunk. And his friends had went swimming and locked him out of the room, and he had no way to get in. So we're like, "Okay, well, we're on the way down to the pool anyway. If you want to come with us, we'll try to help you find your friend and go with them." And he's like, "Okay, sure." Well, we had to have him on our shoulders all the way until we got into the water park because he couldn't stand. Meanwhile, the whole time, "Oh, you guys are my best friends. Love you so much." We're like, "It's okay. Don't worry about it." We get down there, Kalahari being the way it is. Even if you had a on badge, you still had to pay to get in the water park for the special event. Well, I didn't bring enough money for 3 people, so I told him and my friend else, "You guys go ahead and I'll go back up to the room, I'll get more money, and I'll come back." Okay. It takes about 10 minutes because I have to wait in the line again to get in. And of course, if you're in a water park, you don't have your cell phone. I did not find them, probably an hour, and I only found one of them, and it wasn't our new friend. And so I asked my friend, I'm like, we'll say Jay, where'd Jay go? I'm like, oh, okay, you just let the drunk guy that can't stand wander off in a water park.
That seems like you could.
So,
ColossalCon's theme every year.
yeah, it's about right. It's not wrong. That's about right. So, another, I'd say 30, 40 minutes go by, and we just do not find him. So, we just go over to the wave pool, we're like, we'll just sit in the wave pool, and maybe he'll show up. After a little bit, we look over to the beach, and we see this guy, and he's like, sludging in the water, and oh, shit. So, we go over, and we're like, "Jay," he's like, "Oh my God! Oh, I thought I lost you." We're like, "Yeah, you did." So we bring him over, and we sit him down in an inner tube in the wave pool, and he's just having a grand old time. He's nice and relaxed. We sit for a while, and the waves come and go. Then just out of the blue, he just complete demeanor changes. Stands up, no emotion, just starts walking towards the beach, starts running towards the beach, runs to an exit door that, mind you, locks once you go out it, and has a hill that is very steep, and there are windows to the hotel room.
Oh, God.
I chase out after him, and grab him by like the scruff of the neck so he doesn't fall and break it. Meanwhile, there's someone in one of the windows just looking out like, what are you doing? And, he hurls for a little bit. He's like, "Oh, your guardian angel, I love you so much." I'm like, just don't die. And so we turn around and go back inside, and you can't. So we're pounding on the window for people, hey, someone let us in. Cosplayers are walking by, like, eventually someone lets us in, and we take him back up to his hotel room, because by this point, the event had ended, and we get to swim, because we were looking after this dude. So we get up to the hotel room, and we knock, and the lady opens the door. What are you doing? Why weren't you in here? We're like, you fucking locked him out, left him here, what do you want? Get your ass in here. Slam the door. He's like, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I have another one unless someone else has one.
Here you go.
Thanks. Alrighty. Continuing with the theme of Ohio-based anime conventions because, it's really fun. There's this little con called OhioCon. OhioCon 2017, or as I lovingly call it, RegretCon 2017. So I had money, this was very hard to mention, and I was very determined to drink a lot. I met my goal. But I went to the rave. Started out, ready to rave. Go with that. And I get in there, and there's this guy, and he has this jug of like this unmarked jug of liquid in a rave. And he asks like, I'm like dancing with like near him, and he's like, hey, you look really cool. Do you want some of this? I was like, yeah, sure. What is it? Oh, it's apple pie moonshine. I made it. Like, I thought you couldn't have drinks in here. He's like, I'm friends with one of the door checkers. They let me bring it in. That's a good sign. So my smart self was like, yeah, sure. Meanwhile, my like responsible friend was like behind me, like, no, and didn't reach me in time. Took a nice big swig. Delicious, I think I remember. And I was like, this is great. And he was like, yeah, I know. And I handed it back to him and then danced in the middle of the circle for about 20 minutes. This isn't even the fun part of the story. And then I found him again. And I was like, hey, man, can I have some more of that? And he was like, yeah, sure, here. Meanwhile, my friend is louder. No. Grabs the hood of my kigu, pulls while I'm taking the second swig of this mystery juice of wonder. And he's too late. I already had some, it's fine. And he knows now, he's like, okay, we're gonna go get you water at the bar, which is smart to take me to the bar. We get to the bar. On our way there, I went through about 3 mood changes. I went from, take me back to the rave, to, yeah, I'm so excited, let's go party somewhere else, to sobbing and very upset. For no reason. Just upset at everything. And so we get to the bar, and he sits me down on my stool, and he's like, stay here, it's okay. And so he brings me 3 glasses of water. I think I drank one. And then across the room, I see a friend of mine who I'm like, oh, I know you. We'll call him Jay. It's a different Jay, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe, hopefully.
Honestly, I don't know. It sounds very fitting.
We're assuming they're the same person.
I mean, if you want.
J number 2.
Jay the second. I'm like, oh, I know him. I'll go hang out with him. It's fine. And my friend's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I know him. It's okay. I'm going to go hang up there. I'll see you in the hotel room later. My friend then lost all of his responsible points and left me. With my friend Jay, who was very nearly blackout drunk. And I was somehow the sober friend in that situation. I don't. I honestly only remember. I remember a lot of this from bits and pieces that were in the next day. Oh no, sources to myself. So he and I are just sitting there, we're talking, hanging out, and we start like shoulders hit each other and like hands get held, and then we start making out a lot at the back of the Hyatt bar. Like it was like 2:30 in the morning. Bar's closed. There was no one around. A staffer yelled at us because we were being indecent at a family convention, making out, nothing else, at the back of the Hyatt bar. And I was like, okay. And my essential thought was, okay, fuck you. And my friend was friends, I think. He didn't. And so he was like, it's fine. There's a bathroom in the lobby.
Oh no!
Nothing. He knows Jay the Second, and he has not heard this whole story.
I've
This is
heard this
great.
whole story.
This is great. No one has until now. Yay! And so we go, and we're making out. It's just a lot of making out, a lot of that. And then eventually he gets up and he's like, "Well, I gotta drive home. I don't have a room here." And I was like, "What? You cannot drive. I can't drive. You definitely can't. You can barely walk." He's like, "No, I'm gonna go home." And he walks to the parking garage, and I follow him very slowly because I can't run. I shouldn't. And I'm following him like, "Don't drive home." Follow him around the parking garage for about 30 minutes. Lost him. And then I went back to the back of my bar. My friends are still hanging out. Apparently he woke up the next day in his car at like 6 in the morning, was like, real still hungover, and drove home. Ta-da! Morphicon 2017.
Okay, to follow up that, it's time to tell the story of Power Morphicon.
Oh.
This is the time I went to Power Morphicon, my first ever convention outside of Ohio, because I wanted to meet Rocky Santos and Tommy Oliver, Jason David Frank, two of the Power Rangers. I was in there at the dealer's room getting a few toys autographed by Rocky Santos and Jason David Frank. And out of nowhere, I'm going to wait for them to shut the door before I continue on.
No, that's the story. Sorry, let's do like a vacate for a second. Not because of the story. My story.
No, I'm just making sure because, okay.
You're good.
Let's put it this way. Two big, burly men, hairy people, butt-ass naked, but nothing but Power Ranger helmets, started streaking down the dealer's room. I'm looking at this like, I'm trying to analyze what the fuck are they doing? I'm looking at this, and in the back of my head, I hear an audible, "What the fuck?" coming from Rocky, and then the other guy later in the day gets freaking judo tackled by Jason David Frank, who was a legit UFC fighter.
Yeah.
And I was walking up to his panel when that happened. I'm like, do a complete Michael Jackson 180 and walk away.
Was he still naked?
Yes. Jason David Frank tackled a naked man. And that is my first and only Power Morphicon.
I got it.
These stories are just getting better, by the way. Like,
All right.
I'm so proud of
So
you
this is
for
the story of my worst AnthrOhio ever. Yes, this is stuff that happened to me. I was the bad guy. I was the idiot. And this is my story. So I was actually rooming with a guy. His boyfriend was there. A few other people were in the room as well. Apparently his boyfriend took a really good liking to me. A really good liking to me.
Oh,
Yes. Apparently we got into the room alone, and things happened.
Oh,
Terrible things.
turn on the 70s.
a Sega convention?
That's when the door opens, and the boyfriend walks in. Oh yeah.
The boyfriend did not.
I had a nice long walk around the streets of Pittsburgh after that.
Oh, I can believe it.
I was basically just walking around the streets of Pittsburgh with my shit just behind me in a suitcase, just walking around the streets of Pittsburgh at like 2 in the morning.
And apparently these, butch lesbians, we were just talking and stuff because apparently it was Pride Week there. So we were talking and, just talking and whatever. And then they went away. And I was all alone in Pittsburgh, downtown, in the middle of the night.
Surprised you didn't get shanked.
I am too.
Yeah, especially that time.
I came out unscathed somehow. In the morning, I met that kid. We made eye contact, and I just went. And we never talked again.
So, I have another story from a lovely con that we all seem to have stories from. Colossal Con. So, this happened actually this was just last year's Colossal.
I feel like I need
Last
to
year's
get Colossal.
because Steven Universe is still fairly new, and this was the first time I had debuted a cosplay, where I cosplay as Rose Quartz. Now, Rose Quartz is canon 8 foot tall. I can cosplay a canon 8 foot tall Rose Quartz and do it in painter stilts. So one of the, I managed to make it out to the photo shoot, which everything was pretty much normal, little bit wobbly because it was the first time, whatever. Make it down to the photo shoot, everything's going swell, and until like right towards the end, as we're all getting ready to kind of disperse, one of the people who was like, hey, can I get my picture taken with you? Decides to come up, and I'm this really tall. So everything on me is shifted upwards. One of the people that decided they wanted to take a picture after, they were like, yeah, thanks, whatever. I think they were aiming to pat me on the shoulder, but because I was up here, they kind of missed my shoulder, and instead patted me right here. Just right on the vagina.
Nice to meet you.
But at the same time, like, it was such an innocent cosplay and like such an innocent group. I'm just like, yep, you too, buddy. Okay, that just happened.
So it's an Australian greeting.
G'day.
Yeah. I thought you were going to tell one off with blister.
Oh, I can tell that one too. That was a different
If
adventure.
anyone's squeamish.
Yeah. Anyone squeamish? No.
The thing is, with an Australian hello, you better do an Irish goodbye.
So there's another horror story from a different convention. Yoma, following that Colossal Con, I did rose quartz, but the thing I didn't realize with my stilts is you can put them on backwards. And they don't, like, if you're just looking at them, they look the exact same. And I made the mistake because I got dressed at like real early in the morning because I was working at a table for a con swap, and I had to go down and work my shift. So I put on my stilts, but I didn't put anything in between my bracer, like in between the braces on my legs and the stilts. And I'm just like, this might chafe a little bit. It'll be fine though. I'll be fine. So I get on the train, and probably the best part of that was watching me get on this train in stilts in the rose quartz. My wig is also about this big above my head.
On the
It's-
people mover?
Huh? Yeah, on the people mover.
Oh.
I was positioned like this. It was a good time. I just kind of.
also like 2.5 feet tall.
But anyway, so I was in the stilts for probably walking around, like doing what I do, spinning, whatnot, because I can move. And I was in there for maybe about 6 to 8 hours, 5 to 8 hours, somewhere in there. And the longer I was in there, the closer to the ending of me getting out of those stilts, it started to feel like someone was taking a hot knife to my legs. And it got, like, initially I was like, well, it's getting kind of bad. I was supposed to go do a few more things before I got out of this, and I was like, I can't have these stilts on me anymore. So I find a place and take them off, take off a couple of my layers, and I looked down at my legs. And the braces for those stilts are probably about 2 inches thick. So I had a band around both of my legs, about 2 inches thick, with about like 18 or so blisters. Yeah. And one leg was worse. I think it was my right leg was slightly worse than my left leg. But all these blisters eventually, just from me trying to figure out like how bad it actually was, started to kind of convert to become one giant blister. It was bad enough, and also because this was late enough, I thought I got misinformed, and I thought I missed the last people mover. And actually, no, I did manage to get my rose quartz stuff, but I switched into like a different outfit. But I left, it was like a dress, but like from my knees down, it was bare. So you can see the blisters. It was bad enough that when I went to the game room, someone was like, "Hey, how did you get 2nd-degree burns at this convention?" That's not burns, that's from my stilts. But yeah. And then, but wait, there's more. So one of the health professionals, one of the people that was there is like, "Hey, I have a needle if you would like to pop that and sort of like get relief, we can put a bandage on it, whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And so I take the needle she gives me, and then I go to the bathroom. I find one of the ones off the beaten path and try to figure out how I can make the least amount of mess, because there's a lot of fluid that's about to be released from my legs. Which, bleh. Bleh. Also, I'm fairly balanced, but I'm also not balanced. Where this comes in is my next blunder. I decided that I was going to take my legs and lift them up onto the counter by the sink and kind of like position myself with one leg over the sink.
Oh, goodness.
Here we go.
And then I slipped.
It's falling.
Yep. And I fall, and of course I land on the blister, and just like, thankfully, like I managed to like set the needle on the counter, so I didn't have a needle sticking out of a weird orifice or something, or just like out of my leg. But yeah, fell on that, and then just was like, well, guess I'm just gonna clean this up as best I can, and just kind of go back to my life, and then yeah. So yeah, that was.
So they exploded.
Yeah, they exploded. Yeah, I was
Oh, she's on the stilts right now.
Huh?
She's on the stilts right now.
Oh no, I'm not.
The legs are gone. You just
Yeah,
got the stilts
the
on.
legs are gone. These aren't. I don't have legs anymore. I'm actually Lieutenant Dan. But
Lieutenant Dan on screen.
I have a very similar story.
She still does the rose quartz house.
Oh yeah. I have legs.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
And did you do that cosplay going for this past year?
I've got one more.
I was like,
Yes.
From my time as
I
a.
saw you in the lobby at one point by the statue of Joe Louis.
Yeah, if it was early in the day, I was still in that.
I've got a story from my time as a convention staffer at another convention.
Does it involve narrowly getting getting sexually assaulted?
No. Does it involve Jay? No.
No, he was not involved.
It was not. Neither Jay was involved. So
However, sidebar.
What about JJ the
This-
jet plane?
this was the same con where the con head asked them to make the website thing in like less than 24 hours.
This is kind of a redeeming story for
Yeah.
this person, just so everyone's aware.
Yeah, this is an uplifting. So the first year of this con was in 2015.
Yes.
2015, and we had a really good deal in the hotel. It was a Ramada Inn here in Columbus. Anyone who's been to relaxation, it was that hotel. Where the hotel's on the first through the fourth floor, I think, and then the basement is the convention center rooms. Our convention was supposed to be in February. Everything seemed great. We had a great price on it, and the convention, the hotel staff was super supportive of us and helpful. the winter of 2015, 2014 going into 2015 was awful. And 2 weeks before our convention, there was a nasty polar vortex that swept through.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes. Oh.
So
Is this ice count?
the Ramada decided beforehand that when there's no convention going on in the basement, there's no need to heat anything, including the water pipes.
Oh.
The pipes burst, the basement floods, the hotel closes. We are not informed.
Oh.
For a few days until the convention head, we'll call him M, goes to the hotel to stop to do something, and there's just a sign on there where that says they're closed. This was a week and a half before our convention.
Oh.
Guests had already gotten, attendees had already gotten hotel rooms. Guests had already been booked. You know, there was no going back. Our con chair didn't sleep for 36 hours. But he managed to find a hotel that would take us on short notice for a convention like a week later. And it was super expensive, but it was actually fantastic. So for all of his really shitty business practices towards us, he was really good for the convention as a whole.
Yeah.
That's my horror story with a positive ending.
Wait a minute, wasn't that for
I can
relaxation?
share
Wasn't that the one the guy was trying to run for profit?
I don't know much about relaxation.
Oh.
As AnthrOhio staff, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I can share one that what happened a few years ago. It happened at Morphicon a few years back. And for some reason, the person who was in charge of programming, and in this case it's me, so I created that whole horror story, so I will take full responsibility. But it would be funny to host the feline sig and the canine sig at the same time. So, the canine have already had their nerf gun out in the room, and they're bored to tears. And they're like, look! The feline are all congregated in another room. Let's grab the nerf gun and go shoot the feline. Feline did what feline usually don't do. They did the sensible thing. They didn't reply to the unprovoked attack. But then the canine felt gypped of all their fun. So they proceeded go every single panel room, hospitality, and shoot everything that moved. Until they stopped at registration.
Oh my God.
2 years later, it's very fun. What happened? Not quite so much fun. So it prompted me to make sure that it was written in big bold letter in any notes to any future programming person and every other con that I can do. Never, ever, ever, ever pit the canine against the feline. Or else. So that's my horror story.
The best part about this is he's not even a dog, he's a bird. Like, just trying to pit people against each other.
I did not do that on purpose.
That's what a bird would say.
I thought it would be fun to have them at the same time. I didn't think it would degenerate that much. Birds are civilized.
Dogs are not.
Birds are civilized.
Hey, group of our own is called what? A parliament. Therefore, we maintain civilization.
Anyone else have any
I
stories?
got one more.
Okay.
This was from Americon 2014. A one-day con up in Bowling Green.
What?
A one-day con.
Of what?
Anime.
Oh. I
was walking around, minding my own business. I see a rope dangling down where the higher part of the ramp is.
What was
that I'm
hanging
walking
from it?
past. And out of nowhere, I see guys dressed up like the fucking G.I. Joe. Like coat front on one end, on the other end, I see people dressed up like people from fucking Cobra Commander coming down each ropes and about to engage in a nerf fight. With me in the middle. I'm like, shit, I get cover. I ducked behind a plant for an hour. A bloody hour. And the guy who's dressed up as Snake Eyes comes up to me, it's like, pokes me in the head, it's like, hey, were you a part of this? I'm like, do I look like a Joe or a Cobra member? He's like, no. Why were you a part of this? I'm like, I was just minding my own damn business. He goes, oh, did you catch any stray bullets? I'm like, I'm sorry, I was looking for my own skin. He goes, okay, you don't have to be so rude about it.
But dude, you just wasted an hour of my time sitting down in a firefight. I think, you guys got PTSD insurance?
And the guy pointed his little foam, poked me with his little foam sword. I'm like, do not. He goes, what? What are you gonna do? I ran to the guy who's dressed up as freaking Storm Shadow. I'm like, can I borrow your two katanas? Your two foam katanas? He goes, sure. Why? I'm like, Snake Eyes is being a dick. I'm joining the Cobra. He goes, okay. He handed me both of these foam swords. Little did I know that the sword's handle was actually wood. I was engaged in a fight with Storm Shadow.
And Snake Eyes.
Yeah, Snake Eyes. I cracked him in the back of the head with the handle. Oh! Completely not knowing that the handle was wooden. All I see was looking like Tyson and Austin. Freaking Mike Tyson knocking down Shawn Michaels in WrestleMania 14. He dropped like a rock. And then I just bent over, just poked him, and it's like, you alive? Poke, you alive? Somebody get a mirror. Lady J, the chick doing Lady J, handed me her little compact mirror. I said, someone pick him up for me, please. They picked him up. I put the mirror right up to his nostrils to see if he's alive or dead. I saw nose breath. I'm like, here, Lady J, he's still alive. And then I straight up said to him, don't mess with Cobra. And that's what happened at...
Anyone else?
I have one.
Okay. And anyone after Rachel? We get ended. It's about 8:30. Alright. Go for it, Rachel.
It's on and it was wood.
So, this is actually from 2 Colossal Cons ago. It's another Colossal Con story.
Great, we love that.
Yeah. So this is about a commission seamstress that she took a lot of commissions from a lot of people, myself being one of them. And I commissioned her maybe about a year before that Colossal Con to make me a Cube-A cosplay from Might of Magica. So it goes along. She takes my measurement. Everything is going swell. We buy fabric, whatnot. And as it gets closer to the convention, she starts to, like, the stuff, all of the progress starts to get slower and slower, and I'm just like, okay. She's just like, yeah, I'm making your cube egg cosplay, and then I'm also making a bikini for someone else, and I'm also doing this other thing, I'm making a robe for someone else, and mind you, she also tended to make cosplays for some of her male friends, and I'd seen some of her work, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is fine, this will be fine, whatever. And she's like, yeah, I always get commissions from my guy friends, I don't understand why none of my female friends want me to ever commission things for me. Now I know why. Yeah, I also paid her $500 to do this. In cash.
Ooh.
Big mistake.
Should have signed a contract.
I should have. Hindsight. 2020.
You should
But yeah.
have had a legal document drawn up.
Oh yeah, I should have. I should have. I know better now. But yeah. So it gets closer to the con, and I'm just like, hey, oh, you got that? And she's just kind of like giving me little bits and there's a little bit of progress being made. Like there's still progress being made, so I'm like, okay, I still have a little bit of hope. It's not much, but it's there. The con arrives and she's like, oh, I'll have it ready for you at con. Okay. I pretty much got my wig ready and like all of the like accessories and whatnot, but like I've got all that. And like I go up to her and I'm like, hey, the photo shoot is about to start, and I wanted to wear this to the photo shoot, and like this would be like my first commission cosplay. Like hopefully if everything goes according to plan, like this will be fine. Go up to her room to retrieve said cosplay. She has not only there was like a frilly lace that was like flat on one side and frilly on the other, and like when you sew it in, you're supposed to sew in the flat side so the frilly parts are out. She had sewn that in backwards, so the flat edge was out. And she was still gluing it together when I went up to the room. But not only was she still gluing it together, she also I got up there and she was like, oh hey, I have to stop making your cosplay because I have a photo shoot to get to. And she proceeds to then pause making my cosplay to go to her photo shoot. It was an awful experience. I'm glad I had I think one or two backup cosplays, which I almost didn't bring because I was planning on wearing that cosplay the entire weekend. Because I'm like, I spent a whole lot of money, I'm just gonna wear this the entire weekend. But the pattern that I was kind of going off of, that like it was one of those like I kind of had like an idea off the internet and like, yeah, I'll do this. One of those. Kind of glad she hadn't finished it because like I saw like how it looked from like what she had, and it was just
not good.
Not good, but I got to see pictures from that photo shoot, and there was someone there with what my costume was supposed to look like, already made, already together, looking bomb as fuck. Like they nailed it. But yeah, it was just like, well, this sucks. But lesson learned. Hard way. But yeah.
You get your money back for that?
Fuck no. I still no. It's kind of like I kind of just like I consider her a friend, but now I kind of like I don't trust her with money anymore.
I got a question about your story.
Yeah.
So did she make the suit already, but just sold it and then tried to make
No.
another one?
No, she still has the in theory she's still working on it.
And how long have you been
there?
Oh, about 2 years. 2 years.
You know, at least you're not paying for work hours.
No.
Right.
You rack it up.
I think we're about done with AnthrOhio's Con Horror Stories 2018. Thank you all for coming. There's a few more s'mores and some graham crackers if anyone wants some. Some more. Right. They're for the good.
Now,